Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am Adam. We are back. We are live. And as always, we are bringing you the latest Manchester United news, headlines, transfer rumours on this day, all that good stuff. And we'll be getting some of your thoughts and questions in the mix as well, as we have got loads to discuss today here on AdamMcKola TV. We have got updates on Jadon Sancho. I was just checking the thumbnails and the titles of all the United daily videos over the last couple of weeks. It has been 2 weeks since we had one that was entirely based on Jadon Sancho, which goes to show it's been pretty quiet on the Jadon Sancho transfer front. But we have got updates on that today from the British press. It looks like someone has been briefing the British press. It could be bullshit. It could be United getting a little bit of a brief out there. It could be true, it may not be, who knows. But we'll be having a look at all the reports and trying to figure out for ourselves whether there is anything in these reports. There's also talk about Alex Telles as well and his potential move to Manchester United, and reports that it could drag on well into the deadline day potentially. Alex Telles is prepared to sit and wait at Porto as Manchester United negotiate a deal for the fullback from Porto. Whether he comes to Manchester United or not remains to be seen, as United continue to haggle and want a £12 million deal for the man. Romero is open to an Everton transfer, and after we heard yesterday that his salary demands could be holding up a transfer away from Manchester United, Jordan Pickford's mistakes for Everton seem to have intensified their search for another goalkeeper, and they could be coming straight back in for Sergio Romero, who was linked with a £10 million move to Everton earlier in the transfer window. With less than 2 weeks to go, it's a week on Monday till the transfer window closes. Everything is really heating up now. And the reason I went with the Jadon Sancho story today, I, like many of you guys, I can see Darcy in the comments saying the Mirror is garbage, and the Mirror are the ones that have reported this story. There's a few others that have followed as well, and Pilger, Sam Pilger, who writes for 442 and those kind of things, has also said United are intending to make a bid and intensify their Jadon Sancho search in the next couple of days. So there are other reports coming out from it as well. And although this may be a little bit of bullshit from the Mirror, it could be the case in terms of, you know, where journalists just jump to be the ones that are first. They go early with a story just to be the ones that are first, even though they're probably not going to be bang on in every single aspect of the deal. And it kind of stinks of one of them. There's 10 days, 11 days left of the transfer window. Manchester United are going to be going in for a bid for Jadon Sancho at some point in these next 10 days. It looks like maybe these guys have gone early, but we'll have a look at the story from them. We'll have a look at the Alex Telles story. We'll have a look at Sergio Romero, Chris Smalling, all that kind of stuff. Dale Upamecano has confirmed that he was in discussions over a possible move away from RB Leipzig in this transfer window. Obviously, he has since signed a new contract there. Whether someone comes back in for him ahead of a deadline day move remains to be seen, but it looks like it's more likely Dale Upamecano will be on the move next summer. So we'll be getting all of that, and who knows, something else may break in the next 25 minutes or however long we are on for today. Anyway, before we get stuck into the transfer news, let's have a look at the on this day stuff. Someone was complaining about this yesterday. Why are you talking about this when you're talking about transfers? First off, United Daily is not just about transfers. It's about anything. And every single day we have an on this day. Get with it. So Saturday, the 24th of September, 1892. So on this day in 1892, how many years ago is that? 28, 128 years ago. And on this day in 1892, a black day for Newton Heath at Goodison Park, a 6-0 loss against Everton, ranks as the worst the club to become Manchester United has experienced against the Toffees prior to this publication deadline. Obviously, since then, we've not been battered by Everton 6-0. Anyway, we obviously had that 4-0 defeat last season. It goes on to say, it is a season of struggle for the Heathens, who escaped relegation by the skin of their teeth. So on this day, a massive battering for, as it was Newton Heath back then in 1892, a 6-0 loss at Goodison Park against Everton. Our worst defeat against Everton ever. 6-0 defeat. Obviously had one at 4-0 last season. That wasn't pretty, was it? Wasn't pretty at all. But we're not here for sad on this days, like getting beat 6-0 off Everton. We are here for the news, the latest transfer news in relation to Manchester United. And we have today got reports on Jadon Sancho. Now, the Jadon Sancho reports initially come from the Mirror, but then, like I said, there's been a few others that have jumped onto this story. So there's various reports in relation to this story. And it says Manchester United will make a bid of £90 million for Jadon Sancho next week. The sum will be comprised of £75 million up front and £15 million in add-ons. Ed Woodward will inform Borussia Dortmund there will be no negotiating over the fee or the structure of the deal. Now that is around 99 million euros. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund wanted a deal worth 120 million euros for the player. It looks like United are going in with 10 days to go with this bid. Now, if it was to be true, and it wouldn't surprise me if United went in with this kind of bid for Jadon Sancho, because your first official bid isn't going to be the asking price, is it? It's not going to be the asking price. So I imagine if United were to go in with this final take it or leave it offer, they're just trying to get Borussia Dortmund down from that 120 million euros. So then you may agree a deal that's worth 100 million pounds, and you've still got £10 million off the deal that they originally wanted. Unfortunately, when you're doing a deal that's worth 108 million pounds, you know, clubs are going to try and get 10% off here and there, because especially in this climate with coronavirus, those kind of figures are big in terms of, you know, what the club can do elsewhere. Especially if you look at United potentially getting Alex Telles for around 15 million pounds, 15 to 20 million pounds as well. You can see why United will be doing this, but it's frustrating for us fans. We just want to see this deal get done. For 3-4 months we've heard about it dragging on. For longer than that, actually 12 months. We heard of it last summer as well. And this is the story from the Mirror. It says Man United will table a £90 million bid for Jadon Sancho next week in an attempt to prize the England star from Dortmund. Mirror Sport, again, you know, not the most reliable, has learned the sum will be comprised of 75 million up front with 15 million in add-ons. Ed Woodward will inform Dortmund there will be no negotiating of the fee or the structure of the deal. He's been heavily linked with a move to Old Trafford, and although the 5th of October transfer deadline is fast approaching, United Chiefs are confident of getting a deal over the line. So this is what we're hearing in relation to Jadon Sancho at this moment in time. Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic earlier said he still thinks Jadon Sancho could happen, and something may happen in the last week of the transfer window. Again, a lot of talk about this dragging on while close to deadline day, and that's where we are now. Nothing's going to be done in the next couple of days, is it? So it's all going to be going close to the wire in terms of this. Sam Pilger, as we said, I think he was formerly, or he is currently, of the Times, who writes for The Athletic, Forbes 442 as well, has said United remain determined to complete the signing in the next 10 days. So United briefing that they're confident of this deal happening. So that's clear. Now, what United may be doing is, this is another alternative kind of maybe conspiracy theory to these rumours and to what's going on is, and these things are what we see quite a lot, are teams coming out and saying, you know, like we've seen it with the Kai Havertz deal. So Chelsea came out and said we got him for 75 million euros. Whereas Bayer Leverkusen were reporting to their press we got him for 100 million euros. Now you may see United coming out and saying, if we get the deal done, we got him for 90 million pounds. So they can act like they've won this bidding war for Jadon Sancho. And Dortmund will come out and say, we got our 120 million euros for him in order to save face. And this could be the start of that briefing from Man United. That's me again, trying to put a positive slant on it, or just trying to put, you know, a possible idea to how this is happening. But again, it's going to drag on closer to the deadline, isn't it? I am still confident we'll sign him. I just kind of feel it's inevitable that we will. But I'm not as confident as I was a month ago, 2 months ago, even 2 weeks ago. I'm a little less confident than I was. But I'm still, if I was going to put money on a transfer, which I'd never do anyway, I'd put it on Jadon Sancho being a Man United player on October the 6th. But there's no guarantees of that. You know, United are dragging on for a while now with this. We're finding it difficult to get players off the books. We'll talk about Sergio Romero potentially leaving, Chris Smalling potentially leaving as well. There's other players that have been linked with a move away from Manchester United too, but none of these deals have yet happened. Alexis Sanchez is one that we managed to get off the books, which was a massive move for Manchester United. But again, there's nothing else that has happened in relation to getting any of these players off our books. So, we need to do a lot more to get rid of them and get these players off our books so we can get some fees in. And I imagine the club have got the money to make that Jadon Sancho deal happen, or most of it, and are probably looking for the outgoings to fund the deals like Alex Telles, which again is abysmal when you consider the position we should be in as a football club. When you look at the money that we earn, it's ridiculous, really. It's ridiculous. I know you got the coronavirus and all that, but United shouldn't be in this position. We make more money than any club in the world, yet we've got massive debt, and we're working on these Glazonomics. It's a joke, really. Let's look at this Alex Telles story anyway from The Guardian. It says Portuguese club Porto won 18 million for the Brazilian left back. Telles has only have 1 year left on his contract at Porto. And it says Alex Telles believes Porto's asking price to Manchester United of about 20 million euros, 18 million, 0.3 for his transfer is unrealistic. With the left back conscious, he is in line to be a free agent next summer. Although the 27-year-old remains hopeful a deal can be concluded this week, he is braced for negotiations to drag on towards the close of the window on October the 5th. United's stance is similar to the Brazilians, and it is understood a valuation in the region of 12 million is viewed as more realistic. There is an awareness, so United's valuation, Porto's valuation, 6 million apart. There is an awareness in the players' camp and at United that Porto's need for money from Telles' sale to finance investment in Sergio Conceição's squad may force down the fee. Telles would be clear in January to talk to clubs about a summer move as a free agent. He is wanted by Solskjaer to provide competition for Shaw and Williams, with the manager also seeking a greater attacking threat from fullback. Last season, Telles, who takes penalties, scored 11 times in the Portuguese top flight and made 8 assists in 158 Premier League appearances for Shaw. He has scored once and made 7 assists. Damning stats when you compare. But Alex Telles, United seemingly got Alex Telles doing their negotiating now and using the players' willingness to leave, using the fact, to be honest, that's sensible. Again, these things are sensible if it's at the start of the window, but we're now 10 days away. And they're like looking at the fact that Porto are going to want to replace this guy, so maybe they'll take a little bit less. And again, if you get Alex Telles for 12, 15 million, I think it's a massive bargain. But it's just frustrating that we're out here haggling over £6 million with 10 days to go in the transfer window. Lost our first game of the season against Crystal Palace. Now, I know it's not a priority signing as such. I know it's not a priority signing. We've got a left back, but I feel it is. I think we need a left back. We need a right winger. We need a DM. We need a centre back now. If we can get 2 of them, right winger and a left back or a centre back, I'd be delighted. If we could get all 3 of them, combined with the fact we got Donny van der Beek, I'd say it was a very good window. But we're here messing around over £6 million. It's frustrating. Dark King Marv, thank you for joining AdamMcKola TV. Absolutely appreciate it. Really do appreciate you guys getting involved and joining the channel as well. Can see Wayne in the comments, Charles in the comments, Elia's back in the house as well. Shadow Punch, Alien Tenno, Darcy, Shanawaz, Ross back in the house as well. Keep your thoughts coming in. Let us know what you're thinking about everything we're discussing today. From Jadon Sancho, United reportedly set to bid £90 million for the player. We have been linked with this move for an awfully long time now. Obviously, for the past 2 months, we've heard Jadon Sancho's contract terms with Manchester United are sorted. They're done and dusted. They're in the bag. But we're waiting for the rest to fall together. And as of yet, it hasn't. But fingers crossed it will do that just in the next 10 days or so. Get your super chats in as well. We got a super chat from Zachary. Will we ever do anything with? No, we won't. We won't. Let's just cut that there. Yeah, we won't. We won't do anything with them. Well, I won't anyway. I mean, if anybody else wants to, that's up to them. But me personally, I won't at all. Um, what's what's going on, Will? Thank you for joining us. Nimbe, thank you for joining us. Is it going to be accepted? Says Venki. I don't think the £90 million bid, if we made that, would be accepted. I'd imagine United are trying to then get them to come off that £108 million a bit. Probably hoping for Jadon Sancho to do a little bit of pushing, and then maybe get a deal on the second bid that they put in officially. United will be negotiating and through intermediaries and trying to find out what they'll accept and what they won't accept. And they may even know that this one won't be accepted. They might know that this bid's not going to be accepted, but it may send a message to Jadon Sancho that, you know, we're bidding for you and these guys ain't letting you go. It's your turn to put the pressure on a bit. We'll make another bid just a bit above that. Then we would have got some money. 90 million is around 100 million euros. So it's, yeah, 20 million euros less than what Borussia Dortmund originally wanted. So there you go with that one. Richard says, are we going to buy Sancho? In my opinion, I feel like the move will eventually happen, but I'm not as confident as I once was. So make of that what you will, but I don't have any inside information on that at all. So that's the news on Jadon Sancho, Alex Telles. But which players are going to leave Manchester United? Well, Sergio Romero has been linked with a move to Everton today. Now, obviously, Jordan Pickford's been having a stinker for Everton. I think he's not a great goalkeeper anyway. He shouldn't be England's number one. And it won't be a long time until Carlo Ancelotti susses that Jordan Pickford's not very good. And Sergio Romero's linked with a move to Everton again. And it says this story is from Paul Hurst and Paul Joyce of The Times. It's a fairly reliable. It says Sergio Romero is interested in joining Everton from United in a move that would put pressure on under-fire goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. There have been no discussions between the clubs, but it is understood that Everton have made contacts with intermediaries to discuss a potential deal for the 33-year-old who wants to leave Old Trafford and who would provide competition for Pickford. So that's the story from The Times. The rest of it is behind a paywall, but you get the gist of it. That Sergio Romero is interested in joining Everton. We have heard before that there could be a possible fee of around £8 to £10 million maybe for Sergio Romero, but he's on a wage bill or a salary of around £90,000 per week, I believe, which is less than I thought it was, because I thought it was on around 110. Because if you remember when Henderson came in, everyone was reporting Romero's wages as around 110, 120. But I think he's on 90k a week, which is still a lot of money for a third choice goalkeeper. Only United would be paying someone that much. But, you know, Everton are probably one of the clubs that could match it or pay somewhere close to that. So hopefully their interest is serious and they come through with a bid for him. Because if we can get rid of Sergio Romero, Chris Smalling in the next couple of days, you know, I don't know, Andreas Pereira's been linked with a move away from Man United. Haven't seen him involved with the team. You know, if we can sell some of these players, Diogo Dalot's another one that hasn't really been involved. You can get some money back in, potentially reinvest that. But the time's ticking. And again, we've been left in this position where, because we're run by absolute bellends, we've got accountants and financiers and bankers doing our footballing dealings. Because we're run by people like this, it's a lot more difficult to get these deals done. Now I understand financial constraints are real, and any club will face them, especially in these kind of climates. But Manchester United make record-breaking commercial deals. We do this, that and the other. And since 2005, they've showed a lack of wanting to compete with the Chelseas, the Man Cities, the Real Madrids and Barcelonas. Yes, there's been occasions, and especially since Sir Alex Ferguson left, where we have invested a lot of money in the team, but there was never any method to it. There was never any culture to what we were doing. It was just a scattergun approach to appointing managers, signing players, giving out deals, giving out contracts, and now we're reaping. I wouldn't say the benefits of that, but the effects of that in the decisions the club are now making. But it all comes down to the amount of money that the Glazers have taken out of the club over the years. They're always happy to take 80, 90 million pounds a year in payments to themselves and dividends and this, that, and the other. But when it comes down to investing to their team, we can't do it with our own money. They bought the club with a leverage takeover on loans, which is, from a business perspective, what they've done is very shrewd. But football's not like that. And we were saved by Fergie for 8 years after they joined us, 2005 to 2013. We were saved by Fergie. When you look at some of the deals that he was making, Park G, 4 million, Van der Sar, a couple million, Vidic and Evra combined, I think that was about 15 million. When you look at some of the deals that he was making, we had to bring Larson in on loan at one point. Paul Scholes back from retirement. Yes, there were times when we invested in a Robin Van Persie or a Dimitar Berbatov. We got Berbatov after we just won the Champions League. When Ronaldo left, we got Valencia, Obertan and Owen. That £80 million disappeared. World record fee at the time. So it comes from, I think Oli has done a lot to change the culture of the club. He's done a lot to change it. But you can only go so far. And the culture's got to be changed from the top to the bottom. Not just from the bottom to the middle. It's got to be changed from the top to the bottom as well. And it's not, they don't have the same intentions as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's intentions, whether he can do it or not, whether he's good enough as a manager, is to build a team that's good enough to win the big trophies. Their intentions are to build a team that can sustain Champions League football, that can satisfy investors, can satisfy their commercial sponsors, that can satisfy all of those things, tick all those boxes, keep the money coming out. And if a manager wins a league title or wins a European Cup, then it's probably because he's done absolutely well with the restraints that he's had put on him. So yeah, it's frustrating times, but still, we know what they're like. In the next 10 days, they will do some business. Whether it's the business that we need done or not remains to be seen. So let's hope it is. Let's hope it is. Let's get some of your thoughts in the comments below right now. Got almost 2,000 people watching. Make sure you're hitting that like button, you're commenting, you're sharing, you're subscribing. Niall says Sancho at 108 mil is a bargain, world class for 10 years. Pay the money. I agree. A lot of people say they don't think he's worth it, and I think they just get frustrated with the way the rumours have dragged on for so long. But I think if any player's worth £108 million, it is him, and it'd be a definite success at Manchester United, in my opinion. Igalo doesn't seem to have match sharpness. I don't know what he does. Needs probably a run of minutes to get a swagger back. I think a lot of players are in that boat at the moment. Yeah, I wouldn't want the Saudis as owners, regardless of who we've got right now, to be honest. No, thank you. No negotiations on the fee. What was the on this day for today? It was Newton Heath getting battered 6-0 off Everton in like 1892, was it? 1882? 1892, 24th of September. Newton Heath got beat 6-0, our biggest defeat against Everton ever. So that was today's on this day, if you missed it. Put the yellow scarf on a rant about the Glazers. Nah, I can't be doing that today. But I just had one basically. Why pay 90 when it's only an extra 18 million to get Sancho? I think you mean why bid 90? Because if we could pay 90, it makes more sense than paying 108. But yeah, we know what price they want. It's just so obvious it's going to get rejected. But I imagine it's a move to get Jadon Sancho to maybe do some talking. Because he hasn't really said anything, has he? He hasn't really said anything at all. Alex says WWE or AEW. I don't watch any of them actively anymore. I still watch classic WWF stuff, but I don't watch anything now. I like that AEW have got good old JR though. The McKola update. So there were some quotes from McKola that came out earlier, and we'll get them in now. One sec. So McKola had some quotes in regards to a potential move, and what he said was to Telefort via United Report, "It's for the moment I am with Leipzig, but it is true that I was able to discuss a move with certain clubs. As I said, for now I'm focused on Leipzig and I will continue to play for Leipzig, and then we'll see." So he's kind of, I don't know, does that mean he could leave this summer? I don't know, but it's confirmed that there were talks. I imagine if he was going to leave this summer, there'd be a lot more talks than there currently is at this moment in time, especially with 10 days left to go of the transfer window. But there you go. 5 substitutions will be allowed in the Champions League. Remember, it's 3 substitutions in the Premier League. We've gone back to that rule, but you could possibly use 5 substitutions in the Champions League. Again, could be good news for some youngsters in terms of them getting some game time. Anything else popping up? Jadon Sancho was asked by I think it's Chunks and Philly about who the most skillful player he's played with is, and Marcus Rashford was his answer, which has obviously again fueled the rumours linking Jadon Sancho with a move to Man United. But anyway, guys, this has been United Daily Live. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're keeping it locked to AdamMcKola TV. Earlier on today, we uploaded the preview for Brighton against Manchester United, the first of 2 previews for Brighton in the next couple of days. But get on it. It's for the Premier League game. Get your predicted 11s and all that good stuff in as well. And keep an eye on the channel because we're going to have a little bit of a competition coming up for you in the next couple of days, which I'll give you all the information in the community section. So get subscribing, get hitting that notifications button, and in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, we're going to have a competition. So head over to the community section and keep your eye on that. But for now, I've been AdamMcKola. Going to get out of here.